Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Financially Lit Podcast, your daily dose of financial literacy. Let's talk about business, how it relates to real estate. Today, we're going to break down exactly what the wealthy do, the elite do, the top 1% of the world, and how they view their finances and how they view business as a means of acquiring real estate, and how that can actually translate into your daily finances and what you can accomplish via syndication with an IVA account. Let's get into it. So the first thing you got to understand is that the wealthy, they see wealth creation as a means of acquiring real estate. It's very key. They're using real estate as an asset that will accumulate residual cash flow so that they can stop trading time for dollars and free themselves financially. Conceptually, it makes sense. If you have something that is paying you a royalty every month or a profit or a revenue every single month, then you do not have to work every single day because that thing is paying you. The only thing you need to do is maintain that asset, make sure there's a good property manager involved, make sure that the rents are getting paid, collected, make sure that your mortgage is getting paid and taken care of by those tenants to the bank. And if you don't have skills doing that, then you hire a property manager. They take 10% off the top of your revenue that you're creating. But, it's a small price to pay for that asset management. Having a good financial manager or a good property manager is key, especially if your goal is to set yourself free financially. You want to find someone that has active cash flow management in regards to your finances. And you want to have a solid property manager that's going to be able to manage your asset well. There's good property management companies that you can outsource to, or you could hire a solid property management person internally if you wanted to take on that burden. But the wealthy view their businesses as a means or a vehicle for acquiring real estate. And what I mean by that is they are literally going into business with the mindset that any revenue or royalty or profit that's created from this business, any cash flow generation, they're going to use that to either A, acquire another business that cash flows, or B, acquire real estate that's going to cash flow. And they're going to use a property management company, most likely, to collect the rents and make sure that those mortgages get paid off on those assets, on that real estate, whether it's commercial or residential. And while that's getting paid off, they're getting their royalty remitted to whatever account they choose in whatever form they're choosing. If they're operating in the commercial jurisdiction, that's going to be in Federal Reserve notes, aka cash money, you know what I mean? It might go to their bank account. It might be in the form of a dividend payout. It could be revenue, it could be profit, it could be any one of these things. If you're talking about our syndication in the sovereign wealth creation jurisdiction with our ecclesiastical trust, it's going to be remitted in royalties straight to your IVA account. Silver syndication. And there are obvious benefits of having this remitted to your IVA account. I mean, one, we're using silver, which is an appreciative asset. It's outside the taxable jurisdiction like the IRS, and the SEC can't regulate it because it's not an investment, it's a co-investment. We're cooperatively coming together. But that being said, the wealthy are using their businesses as a means of acquiring real estate. These assets that are providing revenue or profit or royalties on a monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis are able to pay for their lifestyle expenses and are able to help them be the proper stewards of generational wealth. They are creating generational wealth inside their family, and they're teaching their children also how to approach money to create generational wealth and to preserve that generational wealth. It's a complete paradigm shift from thinking about your finances in an employee mindset or from a business owner's mindset, an entrepreneur's mindset. There's a big difference between small business and big business. Small business, 1 to 10 employees, where a big business is 500 employees or more. A big business is like a corporation, for example. They have a system. The CEO, the captain of that ship, has built that system. He sold his vision to a lot of different people that are now working for him to help him achieve his goal, the vision of that company. And regardless of whether he shows up or not, the business is going to go on. Obviously, he has his C-suite. He's got VPs, directors, managers. He's got these entry-level people. And regardless of if he takes a break or stops trading his time for dollars towards that goal, he's got a bunch of other people, 500 or more people working 8 hours a day, every day towards his goal. So he's built a system to help free up his time so he's not trading time for dollars in that business. Now, if that was just good enough, they would stay at upper middle class. This is not upper middle class. This is the elite. This is the wealthy. This is what we're talking about. And what they do with the money that's created from their system is they go acquire real estate. They're going to acquire residential or commercial and a lot of units to be able to mitigate their downside risk in the event of pandemics or economy downturns or bubbles and black swan events, and they're going to be able to hedge that risk because of the amount of units they can get at once. I mean, because they're wealthy, they're creating this wealth from their business and they have the means and the cash flow to acquire that real estate, to qualify for the down payment, the loan, whatever it is, to get those units. Well, this is key because as they keep using that asset creation money from their business to acquire assets that are also going to cash flow, they are able to further remove themselves from trading time for dollars. And it's becoming more and more of a sustainable cash flow as they diversify with these various assets. Now, this is the key to success. This is the equation that sets them free. This is what they do to maintain this top elite 1% of America's wealth. And you can do this too. It's not that far-fetched for you to be able to switch your mindset and be able to participate in wealth creation, wealth syndication, asset acquisition, mitigate your downside risk with the use of an IVA account. You can use appreciative assets like silver and gold instead of this fiat funny money. You're able to mitigate your taxable interest from the IRS, and there's no SEC regulation. It's a sovereign ecclesiastical trust. And what I'm talking about is being able to come together as a community in a co-investment so that we can acquire an asset together that cash flows and start us and our family legacies on the path to success. Now, what does that look like? Try to imagine with me for a moment. You have a job. Maybe you're on salary, maybe you're hourly. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt for being salary for a moment. Let's say that you make $70,000 a year. You can make anywhere from 40 to 70. You're on salary. You're in America. You have a wife or a husband. Maybe you have 1 or 2 kids. You have a mortgage. You have a couple car payments. You're paying insurance. You're paying homeowners insurance. You're paying for all of your normal bills in life, right? You have the life expenses of an adult. Now, you want to free yourself financially. You want to free your family financially. What can you do today, traditionally, to do that? Well, a lot of the advice out there is, save money, scrimp, right? You're going to need to take your money and invest in the stock market, hold for the long haul. These kind of myths that have been out there for a long time that aren't really how the wealthy choose to operate or move in their financial space that actually freed them and got them to where they need to be. So what you can do is actually co-vest your living margin. Now, your living margin is all of your income that comes in between you and your spouse or whoever your income situation is, all of your assets and your stocks, your bonds, any intellectual property or business that you have, any form of wealth creation that you have coming in, minus all your expenses, okay? That little bit that's left over, that's your living margin. That's what you and your family currently play with every single month, and you have a choice whether you save that money in a savings account in a fiat position that's not gaining too much interest, it's actually losing value against the cost of inflation, and it's losing purchasing power in that position today. So that used to be a great play for that living margin, save it away for a rainy day. But is that what the wealthy do? Not exactly. Now, you could put it in stocks, for example. Maybe the stock market is going to be a great play for that living margin, and then you can go gamble or give it to a fiduciary, and you can try your best to let them handle your money and get some kind of positive return. That's not what the wealthy do. You could put it in mutual funds maybe and try to get, or a CD or a bond and try to get some minimalistic percentage of a return year over year on your money. But again, that's not what the wealthy do. They don't put their money in 401ks. They don't use IRAs. They don't play the stock market. They don't do any of these things. What they do is they start businesses and they use those businesses as a means of wealth creation to acquire real estate. That real estate cash flows for them, and they offset the taxes in various ways and, the investment laws, because it's an investment. Now, you can't play those games because of rules like accredited investors, participating in real estate investment trusts and things like that, which is essentially what the IVA does for you, but in the sovereign ecclesiastical trust jurisdiction. You're now able to take your living margin every single month, and instead of putting it in the fiat cash position in your bank, right, commercial jurisdiction, you can put it in silver into your IVA account. Now, this is a precious metal accumulating position. This is a trust account. It's not just any trust account. This isn't a commercial trust. This is a sovereign ecclesiastical trust. So as we keep saying, it's outside these specific jurisdictions. Now, as you co-vest your living margin into your IVA account and you start saving in that position, not only are you outside the taxable interests, you are in an appreciative position. So the value of your account is not devaluating, purchasing power going down, inflation stealing it. It's actually appreciating. It's a very positive place to be from a savings standpoint. Now let's take that a step further. Now that you have your living margin saved in a vehicle like an IVA account, now you can participate in the wealth creation of syndication of real estate. In layman's terms, that means you can buy real estate with me and him and her and all the other people that are watching this video that want to do it. I can't qualify for the real estate myself. I don't have $5 million. We're about to acquire a $5 million property. We're about $2.5 million of the way there, about halfway. And as we continue to syndicate wealth, as soon as we reach our goal, we're going to strike on that property. Now, this is a unique opportunity for you to be an owner of real estate, commercial real estate. We're going to get 250 units over time. These units are going to produce a cash flow that's going to remit a royalty in silver directly to our IVA accounts. Now, as we get that royalty remitted to our IVA accounts every month based on the cash flow of that asset that we have, you are going to have the percentage put in your IVA directly equal to whatever you put in the syndication to help us acquire that thing in the first place. For example, if we needed $5 million and I put in 5%, I now own 5% of the cash flow of that asset. Powerful. Not only do I own that, I'm the beneficiary to any value that is created from that asset to the tune of 5%. So as that asset cash flows, the trust will remit a royalty to my IVA account equal to my percent ownership in the syndication, which is awesome. Now all of us can come together and qualify for that $5 million down payment as one wealthy person. The trust is that wealthy person. And as we qualify, we use the net operating income that's generated from that asset, and we use it to acquire another asset. It's genius. Now, what the wealthy do, we're all going to be able to do together because of the power of co-vesting, the power of coming together in syndication, the power of loving your neighbor, trusting your neighbor, understanding and wanting to lift everybody up financially, spreading this financial literacy to you and to everybody that you care about. We can open IVA accounts, we can squish our wealth together, and we can start acquiring real estate. Now, as we get this real estate and it cash flows, slowly but surely, it's going to start freeing you and your family up from your day job, that salary that you have. You're still going to work every day. You're still putting money away, trying to free yourself financially, trying to free your family financially, trying to provide better solutions for your children and teach them the best way to keep your family on a solid path. And most people are. So as you're doing that, you're slowly but surely putting your living margin into your IVA, saving it, stocking it away. And as you feel comfortable, you're going to break off a piece of that. Say you're saving, maybe you have 10,000 saved there, maybe 100,000 saved in there. Maybe you rolled over your 401k because you didn't want it to devaluate in that fiat market and you have a few 100,000 sitting over there. Whichever it is, you don't have to put your whole life savings at risk. If we have a syndication, we're trying to reach 5 million and you're only comfortable putting in 1,000 towards the co-investment, beautiful. Co-invest 1,000 towards the goal. When we hit the goal, you'll have a percentage remitted to your IVA account. Now, as that percentage gets remitted, we recommend rolling it back into the next co-investment so that you can play with house money per se, the money that was generated from the money that you used that came back. You're going to use that again, roll it back in, and we're going to use that net operating income to create more cash flows, rinse, lather, repeat, acquire another asset, syndicate another pool. And as we continue to acquire assets and build our real estate portfolio as a syndication, we are going to free each other financially. We are going to own assets, and we as a community are going to be able to rely on our own bank instead of the commercial banking system. We have our own sovereign ecclesiastical trust. It is an FBO and it's its own family office. So we want to invite you to be part of our cash flow family. And as we start cash flowing and freeing people, it's going to be a beautiful experience. And I just pray that everybody is proper stewards of the wealth we create, because it's going to be a wild ride. See you guys next time.